All right. But he said, I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work or in their homes or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in the prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. That's just my introduction. Because I can go, when school starts, we're going to get so deep. We're going to get so deep with this teaching. When I say deep, the teaching is going to be deep. We finna finish the Clock of Destiny intro. But I want you to know something about this Fezz. It's something I want you to know. When I speak on things, when I teach, because most of my teachings are on college campuses and with other groups, when I say if a person will use catchphrases and I ask an individual when they say they're sons of Muslims, what do you think that means? What do you think son of Muslim mean? Watch this. Let's ask questions. And that's why I'm glad my emperor's on here, because this is how we teach. Why would we call a person that wear the fez and clandestine a son of a Muslim? Watch this. And this is how you know you can check a person with their scholarship or their so-called grand chicness, or talk about they some adept and they don't even know the 32 and 33 degrees, which you should know when you put this on your crown. Huh? Somebody talk to me. Because if we don't know, just say it. Right, Moors? How can a Moor go around and dish something he don't know nothing about? And the first thing that these goofball Moors do, I call them domestic terrorists, if all you see them doing is arguing with each other, making themselves look like fools on TV. You showing yourself that you a televised Negro with a fez on. You a televised domestic terrorist with a fez on. Because that's all these goofball shows are proving. I'll wait. Somebody talk to me, y'all. Did we live? We live. That's why I said certain people I delete. These more say they part of temples. And then I start asking them certain words. And they like to use catchphrases like, oh, a person is son of Muslim. And I say, okay, well, what that tell you? If they're only 32 and 33 degrees and they're not 99 degrees, Memphis and Mizraim connecting the God and man, what did that tell you? After they become 32 and 33 degrees, which is nothing but snowman wisdom, then they become shrine. What does that tell you? This how you should know whatever a person is promulgating. If they're not talking science and masonry and theology and mathematics, man, you wasting your time. You getting with somebody religious, dogmatic, arbitrary, connotated perspective, trying to convert you to what? Their religious, dogmatic perspective. Somebody talk to me. Because I talk back. Somebody ask, come on, somebody. I'm still waiting. Why do you see Negroes? I gotta say that because this hue, especially Negro with fezzes on, they think they can tell somebody nationality by the color of their skin, and like you got to be a fool. But why will we steady let somebody promulgate the connotated aspect of this craft, and they wear the fez in clandestine? Somebody tell me what clandestine mean. before we get into this teaching, because I might even not do it. I talk back. What does clandestine mean? What does clandestine mean? That's why I said, how can you be? It ain't nothing going on in the temple if the body's not right. If there's no scholarship, what does clandestine mean? What does clandestine mean? Somebody, come on. I'll wait. What else it mean? What else it mean? When we teach, we gotta read it. We gotta understand the context and understand what we talking about in this context. So secrecy, what? Pertaining to what? Okay, but what does clandestine? But when we pertain it to this Fezz, let's follow the context. When we compare it to this Fezz, and when you see your own so-called Moorish brother, and even some of your goofy Moorish sisters, I'm calling them domestic terrorists, they argue with brothers and sisters about the Fezz, but not giving the true teachings of the Fezz and what this science is all about. And the first thing is when they don't know the craft of the true masonry, they did something and give it to somebody else. But when you look it up, you gotta look it up definedly. Those are all, how can I say it? The root in the middle. Those are all byproducts off that, illegally keeping the masses ignorant. Exactly. But then we get to the specifics and then we break it all down in all of its little microorganisms of what it turned into. And it turns into all that. But when we talking about pertaining to this Fezz, and when I'm getting ready to give you this about how people wear the Fezz in clandestine because it's politically or religiously, but it's not a birthright or a national headdress. So the first thing I talk about when you see these goofball Negroes, when they diss masonry, and I tell Moors, no, we're not Masons. And I'm gonna teach this because you should understand this in your instruction number 2 in your teachings. But this science is ours. And that's why when I teach this masonry, this science, I show you who Hiram Abiphith and who they killed, and who Jabal, Jubal, and Jubalum killed, and stole the science from Hiram of Tyre. And that's why the European masonry dress up like you the more, and they use all your inward symbols outward. And that's why their Fezz is marked up. And we're going to touch these things. And so when the more going around, and I say, listen to the words, because if clandestine means somebody doing something in secret, which is political and religiously, then that means somebody was the original of those things. And then you got to start looking at the science. And the reason why a lot of the Moors don't know the science is because they're not scientists. They're not master craftsmen. They're not magi's. And their wisdom is only what somebody gave them. When they talk about somebody handpicked you, this ain't politics. This ain't running for no city councilman. And even when you're running for the city councilman, it's a body of people that pick you. So ain't nobody handpicked you, especially if you've been handpicked by another fool. When I be showing Moors this, and they call themselves adapts and sheiks, and I say, well, what this mean right here? They don't even know what this all about. And then they say, oh, that's that you. They say that's Alicia Levi. And I say, but where did Alicia Levi get this science from? They all know science came from the West. It all came from the East. This is connotated science. This is really the River Nile God. And Alicia Levi, the Baphomet is really Timhob of Abba, the Cove and the Volta, the moon and the craft, the man and the woman with the breast. I'm telling you, with the ether in the middle. I mean, it's way more than what you think. And so when the more just spilling off at the mouth, I said they're not scientists. They're not scientists, because if you are an adept, you understand the Kabbalah, you understand the Mattheos, and you understand the Kemetic Adapt Manual. You'll understand the 7 Kemetic principles. You'll understand a lot of things that where we take it way deeper. You know, and that's real adept wisdom. So when I'm talking about this Fezz. And the Fezz is the ancient and modern national headdress of the Moabites and the Moors. And the Fezz is the brimless headdress most commonly produced in scarlet red with an ebony black tassel. The red Fezz is matched by the red field display in the Moorish national standard flag. And the Fezz is also produced in black, white, and other color variations, indicating other meanings, social orders, or positions. The black Fezz is the highest degree. is worn by the mufti, or the Mohammedan judge. The Moors' united front towards Islam, enforcement and security. The one who wears it symbolizes that she knows law in full, and is able to defend it. So the next time when I be telling these Moors, like when I cut goofy Moors off that be making plates and all this goofy stuff, and I tell them, look, I don't give a damn about just selling you nothing. I got to cut you loose because law is law. And then when a goofball say we don't have to agree on law, that should give you a warning sign. Everybody should agree on law. If not, then you promulgate your own thing, and you are outlaw, and you out of the parameters of the law, because that is not what we teach in Moorish science. What that's teaching is domestic terrorism. I teach y'all when they talk about some 16th Amendment and some fraud, I say let them use that, and I'll show you everybody went to jail for it. I don't give a damn what color you is, white, black, orange, purple, gray. I'll show you like they lying. It's only one way to do certain things, and that's the right way, and that's to be organized. Period. But you got to understand law. What law? Local law, state law, federal law. Know all the jurisdictions. And be able to defend it. Including a knowledge of martial arts. Defense, physical, and spiritual. Like to the martial arts degrees of the black belt. When I say you must know how to defend your degrees. Because you will be challenged. Especially, and it might be just challenged from love. That's why I say, how can a person get mad and brothers and sisters lost? That's why I say I created a school of what? Of thought. For who? For Negro, black, and colored, Mexican, and Latinos. That's Moors. To come under the right teaching, where you don't have to go under no fake stuff. Where they talk about they finna make you something. The Fezz is worn as the symbol of the womb. The Fezz is worn as the symbol of the womb. What womb? It ain't not mine. The Empress, which Noble Ali have in his hand, fallen humanity, which is the Empress, which is you, Empress. Which is you, cuz. The top of it have the nipple shape. Let me get my other Fezz. Hold on. Yeah. But let me show you. Let me show you, people. What you say? Now, like you see this? You see this right here? See, the Fezz is worn and it symbolizes the womb, the woman's womb. And the top of it has a nipple. The nipple shape. That symbolizes what? This how you defend it symbolizes the navel. And the strands of the tassel are what? 360 degrees. As in 360 degrees of what? Of knowledge. You see, my tassel is not pinned down. It's not pinned down. As in certain secret societies. And properly. The free-flowing tassel. How my tassel flows free is indicative of one who is born of the womb, endowed with the aspiring to beyond 360 degrees of knowledge. We navigate upon the earth, and our potential is not limited, not pinned down, or kept secret. However, it's sacred. The 4 sets of breathing holes, the 4 sets of air holes are equal to the number of the woman. 9, and add to 13 the number of times a woman cycle per year, which is in tune with the cycle of the moon. I told y'all when I said the woman is Ma'at, the garden that produces food and life. See, this is what I'm gonna have to, everything I'm gonna have to do over, because it be over a lot of Moore's head when you hear things the first time. And I say all I'm doing is synchronizing. But that's why I said when you learn, you must repeat it over and over. Like when I showed Demore the Exhuming of the Nation, this whole book of law and history and science, he was say, that's a good read. I say, a good read? I say, that's just like when you read the Moore's Quran and other holy books. You say, oh, that's a good read. These are things that you read over and over and continuously, because these are holy books. It's going to be something that's going to come out every time you study this. If it's your life, talk about that's a good read. Like it's just a love story. And that's how I know when I say more, we're not operating the right way. We think we know something. And that's all. We think we know something. But the following, what I'm telling you, when I explain things, I tell you what this Fezz symbolizes. You know, I let us know what it represents. I let people know that it's geometrically formed to represent the eternal zodiac. When I show you the graduation cap, when you hear goofball Moors, you ever heard somebody say that? That's stupid, like you can't put a circle in a square? You ever heard people say that? Yeah. And I say, well, if there was a scientist, if they're an adept, I can put the circle in a square. Because the circle and the square both have 360 degrees of science. It's just shaped different. If you understand how to use your compass. And see, this is the thing when I listen to words, I listen to these brothers talk about, oh, I'm a sheik, and then I'm this, and somebody select me, and then when you speak, and I hear you speaking because you're trying to be slick, you say, yeah, that's just like trying to put a circle in a square. And I'm like, man, I cringe when I hear that. That's when I know you're not a scientist. That's when I know you're not an adept. Because I show y'all through supreme mathematics, through Hika, I show y'all how I circle the square. I done this so many times.
Square and circle and you circle.
Even the so-called swastika that Hitler used, that ain't nothing negative. I turn that straight up. That's 360 degrees as well. How? 90, 90, 90, 90. I'll put that, I'll put the circle, and I'll put the square, I'll put all them, and all this synchronizes. But you say you a scientist. Can't be. And that's why I'm saying, how could you follow something that's proven garbage? A broken clock is right twice a day. It's still a broke clock. The Fezz symbolizes the woman's womb of the cosmos, and the womb of the woman is the mother. The 1-inch finale, which extends out the center. You know? This extends out the center of the Fezz is the number 1 and the 9th letter in the phonetic Moorish alphabet, or the I. This also symbolizes the navel, or the eye. Don't y'all know Moors? When I be showing y'all stuff, this is how I know Moors don't be listening. When I tell Moors that words was written differently, and Phoenicium is the Phoenician, and the Carthaginian, just like when I was talking to a guy yesterday, a European guy, cool dude, and he saw my kai, because I wear the kai. And see, and I understand language. He's like, you Jewish? And I'm like, well, you know, there's Hebrew. And when people talk, I have to break things down all the way and all the way. I understand what language means. But he was like, yes, Phoenician, the alphabet, a lot of things are based off the same. So the first thing, he was like, and I know exactly who the Phoenician is. The same where as all through the scriptures, but people get lost. And because he see me with my Fezz on. You see? So it's certain things that European Masons know. He a Mason. I'm telling you, first thing when he left, he was like Islam. He saw everything. He saw my scimitar on. See, it's no secret. It's no secret. If you know how to defend yourself and your degrees, all a person can do is bow down, and not bow down in disrespectfulness, but bow down into wisdom, because they know you know. I'm telling you, no disrespect. That's why I say you got to be under the right studier, or the right auspices. But the cord extending from the eye symbolizes what? What does it symbolizes? This symbolizes the universal umbilical cord of the universal life. It represents the oneness of all life. It also represents the tie to the source of humanity, the Zodiacus, the first woman. See, a lot of the Moors, when they were first coming out, they were just talking about that. But then they figured out a way to scam you. They figured out a way to make money off of you and print some cards like that means something. They created some fake Moorish consulate, and I'm telling you, that's all garbage and trash. You see? And I'm telling you, that's all garbage and trash. Ain't no Islam hotel, Noble. It's garbage and trash. But we gotta be on time if we're gonna do things. But this eye is symbolizing the universal umbilical cord of the universal life and represents the oneness of all life. It also represents the tie to the source of humanity, the zodiacus, the first woman. And I told y'all, just listen to people when they first come out, when they come out with things and they start and they'll give you more science. Then they switch up and start giving you fake law because they figured out a way to make money off you, off the dumb and blind. And then they create some fake Moorish American consulate, some goofy MAC number, like you going around doing something and everybody going to jail. And now they want to apologize. No, don't apologize. Just tell the people you lied. The circular round ball of the tassel represents the mundane circle or the earth, the cord that's wrapped around the tassel. The strands hold the form of the circle, and it represents unity of life through the zodiac constitution of humanity. It also represents that cycle and that whole reciprocal of nature, of life. That's right, Islam. The strands of the tassel represent the 360 degrees of the zodiac. That's the highest law, the highest authority in civilization, the zodiac crown of light, the national headdress of the mothers and fathers, of the mothers and fathers, of the mothers and fathers. So when you hear some goofball, domestic, goofy terrorist Negro with a Fezz on telling your empress they can't wear a Fezz or the turban or whatever, and I'm giving you facts, is tell you that it's the headdress of the mothers and the fathers of the human family, founders of civilization and masters of the cosmos, masters of the science. Third, 33rd, and 360 degree. Are you listening to me when somebody talk about this some Freemason? No, this is Kemetic science. This is our science. That's why I say this 99 degrees. This is 33rd, and 360. I keep telling y'all, 360 is just a sum total of material wisdom. 720 is a total sum of both material and spiritual wisdom. I keep telling Morris, this 33 times 3. These are 99 degrees. I'm a teacher. I'm an adept, man. This is what it is. We can't be afraid of our brother. What we should do is attach to the brother, but that we don't. That's our problem. And that's why I said there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be going to jail. It's a lot of people that's going to be in the same boat next year. Watch. The strands of the tassel represent the 360 degrees of the zodiac. That's the highest law. The 3rd, 33rd, and 360 degree master masons and eastern stars. This is a part of the hidden truth, which has been buried in the dark corner of the North Gate. When all these Moors, and even my Negro Moors, when you talk about you some Prince Hall, and I say, you ain't no free and no Mason, when they talk about you go in and you stand to the what? And I keep telling you, you already there. You already to the east. But they ain't going to tell you that. But I'll show you the science because they're sons of Muslims. And I'm telling you, I have their manuals. I know what they keep away from the Negro. The Fezz symbolizes of the eternal zodiac is also called a what? Tarbouche, a tiara, a corona soul. You know the beard that they make, corona soul? And then they make the a Modelo, Negra, and Especial. It's talking about you. And other names which describe its royal status. But we don't know language. We don't know symbology. We don't know words. I keep telling y'all, one of the Masonic tricks is to put something right in your face. That's why I be telling more of them, like, how you gonna you study the science and you wear this Fezz and other people wear the Fezz in clandestine and they have systematic classes? That's why I tell any more that I know. I put a lower level Blue Lodge Mason, not no black person, no disrespect, not no Negro Mason or European against a lower level Moor that talk about he go to the temple and he'll eat his butt alive. Why? Because he study you to a T. Because he dressed up like you. He got on everything, and you look at him, and then when you look at yourself, you diss the science. And they be laughing like, this goofball don't even know we buried him in a shallow grave and stole the science. That's why we wear it in clandestine. Y'all not listening. The wearing of the Fezz regarding Masons of clandestine orders. Fez is also the name of the old Moorish capital and the city which is located in northeast Morocco. Moroccan, and Moors are one and the same pedigree and people. America or American is a dialectical corruption of the name Al-Moroccan, which means descendant or descendants of Morocco, and the lack of consciousness of law and history on the part of any so-called Negro, Black, or Mason concerning the ancient history of the Americas has stagnated or retarded their ability to see through the veil of their own hoodwinking Moors. and the Fezz, the city, is Europe? Is the Fez the national headdress of the Europeans, or is the Fez the national headdress of the Moors? Who is wearing the Fez only by ritual? And they'll tell you this. And who should be wearing the Fez by right or natural dress and culture? Who is in the great controversy of who is worthy to wear the Fez and who is not? Who is honoring their ancient mothers and fathers and who is not? Who is denying connection to Ruth the Moabitess and who is not? By way of recognizing or not recognizing the origins of the great philosophies and wisdom found in the halls of learning called masonry. I hope y'all listening to me. This is how you debunk these goofballs when they want to diss something. I say, well, what your Fez represent? And what the graduation hat? Oh, I forgot you ain't graduated. You ain't went to, oh, I forgot you ain't no scholar. Oh, I forgot you just a Negro that put a Fez on. You think you just putting a Fez on gonna make you intelligent and wise? That's why I be telling Moors when I had to delete a Moor and he talk about he a temple and he just keep reciting stuff. And I said that you reciting for the slave. Because that is not what the God did. A lot of that stuff, when you talk about you praying this and all this time, when I show you in the Quran, when I show you in all Quran, when I show you in our holy books and things, that stuff was for the slaves to go out and do, to keep you busy. Because if you were God, that was for your time to relax and get in your higher self. Talk about you pray, recite Allah, Allah all day. I said, that means you're not God. And you think it's something that can make you something that you already are. Same thing, that's religion. And you misquoting the scriptures. You misquoting the teachings because you've been taught wrong by a Negro that thought he knows something and knowing he was taught wrong. And when I start revealing the scriptures and giving you the ayats, giving you all the text, be like, look, that stuff ain't for what a God do. That ain't American Islam. That ain't what we teach. That is not what we teach. It ain't nothing outside of yourself. That's why I said the average Moor, the average Negro, or think they know something, been taught totally wrong. Period. Masonry is a system of disciplines or discipline learning. Listen to me. Listen to what I say, Morris. Masonry is a system of discipline learning. That's it. Moor is the pedigree and nationality of the direct descendants of the founders of the civilization and the ancient high science, culture, Gnosticism, cosmology, alchemy, geometry, algebra, numerology, astrology, architecture, mathematics, and philosophies, from which Masonry draws its wealth of knowledge. But Masonry is the high culture, the esoteric, the Gnostic system of learning Moorish history, science and culture, literary, and factually, which was forced underground and veiled in allegorical stories, mysticism, signs and symbols. Are we clear on that? That's why I be telling y'all, man, I don't respect no old fool talking over nobody's head. The glory of a young man is his strength, but the wisdom of an older man is the grays on his hair and his beard. Just because you got gray hair don't mean nothing. I know you talking over a person's head. I know you using a linguistic apartheid. Why? Because I don't have no fake degrees. And you can't talk over my head, and you damn sure can't shut me up, especially when I know you lying, because the first thing I'm going to tell you is to prove it. And I'm going to destroy all that fake stuff you be talking about, like these laws ain't this. And then when you check a person, 1 Thessalonians 5:21, when I tell them to prove it, and let me see if you doing it, they ain't doing none of the such they telling you. They ain't following none of that. They ain't doing none of that. They damn sure ain't doing that they tell you to do. Why? Because they liars and hypocrites. That's why. And I know they talking over your head. The word clandestine is an adjective meaning secret, concealed, sly, underhanded, accompanied by improper means or stealth, as a clandestine plan or act, seeking a benefit with fair, just, or proper compensation, participation, or unjust. So when you do something clandestine, in your mind, you think you worthy of this, and you try to portray something, and you feel that you should get the same treatment as the other. But if I bury you under a shallow grave, especially the misnomer Negro, Black, and colored Latino, and have you thinking that this ain't your science, you would diss it every time your brother say, this ain't that, this comes from you. Historically, legally, and lawfully. Synonyms of the word clandestine include hidden, furtive, covert. Clandestine is derived from the old Moabite Morse Latin word, clandestinus. You know? A lot of us have been mistaken to think, no disrespect, that Europeans who wear the Fez in secret are the originators of the Fez. And they are aware of the meaning and the purpose of the Fez. And it's the crown worn by those of the Moorish nation, which represents the matriarch. And the Europeans have usurped and stolen the crown and the birthrights, as well as have utilized the science and high culture that's embodied and represented in wearing a fez. All you got to do is research history, research the Netherlands, research Black Pete or Swarty Pyatt, how the European dress up in blackface, and they know the whole attire is Moorish attire. They won't tell you the truth. I can go all across the board and show you this. When you look up the Celtic history and when you look up the Celtic magic books, and you will see a lighter color person dressed up in Moorish attire. And the first thing a person won't read it and open it, and as soon as it opens, it's talking about you. Just like when I talk about Alice Crowley, when he tried to call himself Serapis Bey. And I say, you got to look at the teachings. It's perverted teachings, but when you dig through it, they tell you it's more science. They tried to distill a science, just like Adam Blavatsky. I'm telling you, man. But Moors don't know this because they're not elites. And it's nothing when I say illuminated. Ain't no Illuminati. I remove the veil off all that secret society. But it's a such thing as being illuminated, and it is a such thing as being elite. When I say I have certain degrees, mean I sit at the table. That's the true art of war. It's understanding how somebody think. That's what I'm telling people. I'm a noble. When I go places, I'm a noble. I teach teachers in college. Most of my lectures be when I travel, it ain't no damn Moorish Science temple with a whole bunch of goofball Negroes that's on some religious belief system or on some fake law. That's why I said I put anybody that under my auspices against anybody that's where they've been studying for 10 or 20 years, it'll be over. Because I know Moors are not studying for real. But the Fezz, which is science of the universe, the workings of nature and natural order, and this is the one reason our Prophet Noble Drylee said they live off your virtues, and why some describe them as vampires. So when I'm saying them, I'm not talking about, listen to me, we're not talking about no particular race. So get that mess out your head. I'm talking about anything. I'm talking about it can be your own self that in today's world. It can be your own family. It can be the house you're in. It can be your spouse. If anything that's stopping you from, for one, understanding who you are and understanding things within, that's a problem. So we got to start dissecting ourselves, because there's nothing outside of yourself that can cause you an issue. If not, then how can you say you God and man and connecting as one? And how can you say you connected to nature? Because there never was a time when man was not. If we say we nature, all we do is shift. We just let out the bad junk. Because energy transfers. I hope y'all following me. That's why a lot of us have been miseducated. And it's led to a lot of misgivings. A lot of things that Moors don't know. They don't know one thing about the Ottoman Empire, you know? And the war of Isabella, the Ferdinand and the Isabella, you know? When I show y'all true pictures. I say this is people wearing a fez in clandestine. When they have Morocco and all that on there. When I tell a person, I'm like, man, what are you talking about? This craft is real. Research King Menakaru. Research King Menakaru, and you see the left foot forward. And then when you read in your Moorish Quran, when I talk about our workman tools and all that, and I tell Moors, I don't think people know what they're talking about. The I from the creator of the universe, representing mother and child, from hence we came. The S, self, each one of us is a trinity, this being the symbol of civilization. The L, the law, the length, the angle, the width of the cosmic energies that mark us. That's in your Moorish Quran. The A, the M, the joining of the two trinities, male and female principles, the truant which creates another. What? I am. The M, the master. This being the glyph of the planet Earth, of which we are on and aspire to be master navigators upon. Look, man, I don't know what Moors be talking about. I don't understand what Moors be talking about when they dissing our signs and symbols, because they're not a master craftsman. They're not a master craftsman. They just a Negro with a fez on. Talk about you some an adept and you're not an adept. So let's be honest. And it's like when I tell my empresses, because the part 2 is going to be the clock of destiny. And I'm just going to give an intro. I already established that the Fez represents the womb. Watch this, empresses. Y'all should be sharing this with any goofball Negro or anybody that's lying to you, especially my women that join European groups No disrespect. And also my brothers that join things that's outside of themselves. But the four sets of the breathing holes. The four sets of the breathing holes. The four sets of the breathing holes. Y'all see them four sets? It count up to it. Or spell out the numerologically, the sacred number of 9 plus 4 equals 13. If you count it all, the cycle of the moon and the cycle of the woman in harmony with the moon. And the white Fezz, see, I got the white Fezz in there. Yep, matter of fact, I gotta demonstrate. Sorry, I gotta demonstrate. I'm sorry, y'all, I gotta demonstrate. And the white Fezz represents the moon, and the gold tassel, the sun, and the 360 degree of knowledge aspired upon the earth plane. This is the ball of mud. Thus, the white Fezz represents purity, symbolic of the womb. You know. And when I get into higher wisdom, when I start getting into my metaphysics, when I talk about Aya Asha Aya, when I talk about I will be what I will to be, when I talk about man made in the image of Elohim, when I talk about the most holy place and the holy place and the quarter roundabout, that's just more science. The rest is law. That's why I know these Moors don't know what they talking about. The Moabite national flag, the matriarch, is the white with the gold crescent and the star. The crescent represents the mother and child, the mother cradling the child, and more specifically, empresses, the mother and son, as she can easily duplicate herself. But to transform a female egg into a male specimen is the miracle. Thus she has created the miracle son, the prodigal son, from where? Her womb. You see? See how easy I break this down, man? Easy for a child to understand it. This is why you should be a student. So when pondering upon the daughters of the American Revolution, we find that they began charters as far back as 1890s here in the Northgate, northwest of Mexico, northwest Africa, the heartland of the Temple of the Sun and Moon. And the Moorish national flag is the flag of her sons. It's the red with a 5-pointed green star, Venus the mother in the center. And when she became unconscious, the flag of her sons was flown, and it represents the great bloodshed ensuing upon the land, many divisions and tongues, false prophets, and mass destruction, and all alikes. And the bloodshed was not only the death of the human form of many, but it represented the flow of the shedding of the blood to make up many nations. The scepter, if you understand that, was passed to her sons while she lay unconscious. It is not the son's fault, and it was caused the great destruction. And it will be she who repairs it. Who? Our empresses. Her awakening is or will be the great wrath of Allah. Who do you see with Noble Drew have in his hand? Fallen humanity. What the daughters of what the daughters of American Revolution, what they are against, and they are against, or was against, the establishment was based on the promotion of historic preservation, education, and patriotism. That's it. They are directly against the matriarch, which is the Republican form of the government here in America. And a republic is based in matriarchal principles, not patriarchal. And the revolution certainly was not inclusive of the Moorish, the Moabite, the Asiatic, or the African woman, as she still thinks there is a revolution to come. But you got to understand that it's her revolution that must occur in order for humanity to live out in harmony. Our women must wake up and recognize that she is the mother and the daughters of the American Revolution, and that they are revolting against her sons, of which they, the daughters, were concubines for. If the Moors ruled Spain for 700 years, who the hell you think they was out there laying with? See, this is simple history, but you let Negroes get y'all caught up in some goofy stuff. The Moabite, the Moorish, the African woman must recognize and begin using the teachings and teach our daughters to use the science of the number 9, the science of the womb, to invoke the power and purpose of her womb to bring in the children of great Moors. These are the things that we got to understand. When you talk about the other daughters, no disrespect to no one, I'm teaching you that these teachings come from you. People wear the Fezz and clandestine. So when you see the daughters of American Revolution, they wanted to be free from the past history and free to create their own reality. And that's the thing that they can. They utilized the womb and created the sons who were endowed with the directions and the psyche that imparted to them in the womb to come out with a demeanor to hate and destroy the Moorish sons. If we're going to teach this science, this is their teachings. Their sons became the members of what? You know it, certain clans. All men do the bidding of a woman. We got to understand this. And we need to have a different view when we see the daughters now wanting to be linked back to the Moorish sons. All men do the bidding of the woman. It's our duty, and an honest man will admit that, even if he doesn't. In all reality, Moors, he is affected by her from the time that he is born and while he is in the womb being made. If he's arrogant, possessive, and insecure, she taught them that on the way. And much of these things we learned in the first school room of the universe was in the womb. And that's why he did not stand a chance to be otherwise. And when we submitting to the will of the great God Allah inside, it's done in the womb during the making. Yes. And that's why I tell Moors, like, why are we afraid to have an angel of Allah in the flesh? How can Moors say they love God and they love this and they never seen him, but you hate man that you see every day and every teaching that said the great God works through man? We think we tripping. It's the wisdom, it's the knowledge, it's the understanding that save you, man. I'm just a map and a vessel in the flesh. I'm only going to be here for a certain amount of time. Much of these things was learned in the first schools of the womb. Submitting to the will of Allah is done in the womb during the making, and Allah is all. Manifested in the flesh is arm, leg, arm, head. Everyone is a Muslim. As a Muslim is a fetus, muscles, bones, and tissues, or Muslim, same damn thing, muscles and limbs, if you follow in the context. This is why we wear the Fezz with Muslim, Islam, or that's why they have it all marked down, Muslim, Islam, El Bay, Morocco, amongst other ancient writings upon them. All that stuff is ancient. That's why when I be telling Moors, are you afraid to wear your signs and symbols? Because I'm not. Just like when I tell Moors, the Moors lion is an elephant. And I'm going to show you all the signs and symbols that the European masonry took. I'm taking them all back. When I show you the elephant with the Fezz on, all that. The Moorish lion is an elephant. Prove me wrong. I'm taking my symbols back. These mine. And I'm wearing them proudly. That's why we wear the Fezz. And they wear the Fezz in secrecy. And that's why it's defiled. It's clear that they are modern man and we are ancient man. And they are not and cannot ever be ancient man. And they have no history, no disrespect. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a craftsman. I travel. When I do lectures at the Philosophical Society, I had one of my biggest lectures at the Philosophical Society in California. And everybody liked to praise Manly P. Hall. And I destroyed that science from love. From love. Those who came into the shores of America while the great Statue of Liberty looks on Venus as dedicated and dedicated nature or dedicated in nature. Mother sets the agenda and the sons play it out, enforced it, protect and direct it, or what? Supervised it. That's why I be telling more. I mean, I'm here. I mean, it's unity. We letting people get us caught up. And I'm like, we have the power. This is the United of Asia. What are we waiting for? Are we going to be on YouTube all over? You're going to see us next year. I'm going to be like, we rocking and rolling. You're not going to find me. And all this is a ruling sacrifice. We supposed to covenant. We supposed to be a part of a body, no matter if we abroad. I mean, if you study your Quran, many wear the womb as their royal crown except for the Moorish women. Many wear the womb as their royal crown except for the Moorish woman. And she is the mother of all civilization. And clearly she has been unconscious, and it's now for her to wake up so the great meeting can take place. Don't y'all know what the great meeting is? It ain't with a whole bunch of Negroes. For those sisters who are in these so-called secret groups or think that you're not the Eastern Stars, the secret is all about you. Just like when I tell nobles in Masonry, Haram and Beef, the secret is all about you. You are aware of Esther, E-S-T-E-R, Easter, Istar, Isis, Istare, Venus, an indication of proof that the universal language is that of what? Cosmology. This is why you are called the Eastern Star. Venus is the Eastern Star. And to my sisters who have not been properly aware, you may not be in a Eastern Star member, and you don't need to be. You just need to be under the auspices. But yet you are a star from the East. Do you hear me, my empresses? Venus, the cosmic mother, which rules Libra, which is Mayat. When I say you are Mayat, what? The garden that produced food and life and preserved the balance of nature with her scales of justice. Same thing in the Christian Bible when you talk about Moses and Jethro and the sword of the truth and retribution. It is time to rise from the ignorance and see you for who you are, and more importantly, for your obligation and responsibility, empresses, to humanity. Come on, man. If we don't plant to bring any more royal crowns, we got to teach our daughters, who are the direct descendants of the founders of civilization. We got to tell our young empresses who they are. Teach the ancient high science, the culture, the Gnosticism, the cosmology, the alchemy, the geometry, the algebra, the numerology, astrology, architecture, mathematics, philosophies, and the science of the womb. As everyone else is drawing wealth and knowledge from it and wearing it, the symbol of the womb, atop of their head, atop of their royal crown, except for the mothers and the daughters of civilization, which is the Moabite, the Moorish, the Asiatic woman. Are we clear? Come on, man. Are we clear? Everybody like to always, with that goofy stuff, I said, no, we teach, man, here. We give these teachings. We ain't falling for no goofy science or nobody giving you a whole bunch of old stuff. Talk about some old treaties that's been abolished. I say, okay, well, what the laws say? What protect us? And it's religious laws that protect us if we do things the right way. So that's the first part. We about to do part 2. So I'm about to cut off because we about to log back on. So I'm about to cut off, fill me some more water up. Everybody log back on. We're going to finish Clock of Destiny. Any questions? I hope y'all ask the question while we're going. I'm getting you, and the syllabus is going to be out. So log back on, and we're going to do the Clock of Destiny, Islam.
You sure?